Hello there, welcome back to our brand new video of Coding with Muskan. In this video, we are going to learn how you can connect your MySQL database with your Flask app. So that's a really simple process. First of all, what you are going to do is install the XAMPP from here. The link will be provided in the description. Just come here and select whatever platform you are using, whether Windows, Linux, or Mac OS. You will just come here and install it for your device. This link will be provided in the description and in the blog I am writing after this tutorial. The full blog of this tutorial will be provided on Mozilla Technologies website. You can just open up the website and go to more blog, and there you will see the blog right up here. Currently it's not published yet, but you could just come here, and by the time I am uploading this video, hopefully I will write that article and upload that here. So you can just come here and view the article and just follow the steps, or you could just watch this video to connect your Flask app with your MySQL database. So after installing the XAMPP, what you can do is open up any folder you want and open up like this, and currently I have a app.py file. Open this with code. Now here you got the app.py file. You have to install some of the dependencies like modules for this app. So the modules are, you could just install the modules by writing pip install. First of all, you have to install the Flask, then you have to install SQLAlchemy module, then you have to install MySQL client, and then Flask underscore SQLAlchemy. By installing these four modules, you will be able to connect your Flask app with your MySQL database. So currently I have installed all these things. So let's just start this tutorial. What you have to do is you can just come here and you can import the Flask from from Flask, import Flask, and then you have to import SQLAlchemy. So from Flask underscore SQLAlchemy, import SQLAlchemy. Perfect. By importing these two modules, you have finished up there, and you can just proceed next. Now you have to create the instance of your Flask app. So for that, you can just use any name. I am using app is equals to Flask and create an instance. You can just get the name, and then you have to initialize your database. So you can just do db is equals to SQLAlchemy and then pass your app here, so your database is initialized. Then the other code is app.config, just like this, and pass this thing. This is a global variable that is there in SQLAlchemy. Just you have to pass the database link here. So you can SQLAlchemy underscore database underscore URI. So you have to pass the database URL here. So you can just type is equal to, and then sorry, not like this. You can just type this and MySQL, sorry, in small letter, MySQL this, and then you have to write the username here, the database username, and then password here, and then at the host of the DB. I am just doing these things to clarify these things to you guys, and then your database name. Okay, so in my case, as I am using the XAMPP, let me open the XAMPP control panel, and then you have to start the Apache and MySQL server. Sorry, I just forgot to tell you this thing in the start. Open up any browser you are using and then type localhost /phpMyAdmin, and from here you have to select the new, and you can type the database name. So I will just type YT tutorial. Okay, copy this name, as you will provide this name in the URL. So just create this database, and for XAMPP, and now do nothing here. As for the XAMPP, your username is root, and the password is by default set to none, and your host is local host. Okay, and here you have to provide the database name, so it is in my case YT tutorial here. So it's better to pass this thing up here, because it will just set this to this, and then it will just initialize your database. So after this, if you wanna check whether if your database is connected or not, you can just type with app underscore context, because you have to write all the codes in the app. If you write outside of this, it will just give you an error that you have written outside the app. Okay, so here you have to pass any like any basic query. So I will just type db dot session dot execute, and then I will pass here the query. So I will just type select one. Okay, so if this query is successful, it will print us this database connection successful, db connection successful. Okay, so if this query executed, it will print this thing up. Let me just start the app. Wait, you have to do like if underscore name underscore is equal to underscore main underscore, and then you have to pass this, and then you have to run the app. So app.run, and you should just turn the debug is equal to true, because you are in development mode. So you have to type this, and then you could just come here and just run your Flask app. So I will just type py app.py. Let me show you all, and it shows. Okay, so the error is we have to declare this thing as a text. Okay, so what you have to do is you have to import another module from SQLAlchemy. SQLAlchemy import import text. So from this, import the text, and then you have to type this and here, and then you have to declare this thing as a text. Let me show you guys now. CLS py app.py, and as you can see, our database connection is successful. What if you just change this database name? Let me show you all. Now it will give you an error that unknown database, or any other error. It would give you that error here, that your database is unknown, or any other error related to the database. So I will just provide this correct name here, and your database connection should be successful. So after this, what you have to do, this was just a sample text, sample code to just check if your database connection is successful or failed. Now what you have to do is you have to define your database models. So you have to define your database model. Let me show you all. Class, and any table name you have to give. I will give it a username, and then you have to write db.model, because this is a database model, and then type this, and then here you will first of all you have to give a primary key. So I will provide the id as a primary key. So id is equals to, then you have to write db dot, and then column. Remember, this column C should be in capital, okay, otherwise it will not work. So database dot column, we will create a id column in the database. Okay, so this, and then you have to write db dot integer, because it will be an integer, and then you have to write primary key, because this will have a primary key. So primary underscore key is equals to true. Okay, this is our primary key, so we have to define this thing up here. Then you have to write any other columns you want. For example, in my case, I will give it a username column. So db dot column, db dot string, because it will be a string. Then provide the string limit. For example, in my case, I will provide it 80. Then you have to write provide nullable is equals to false, because we don't want this nullable is equal to false, because we don't want this field to be null. because we want the username of the user. Then we have to write unique, because this username should be unique. In my case it is unique, and it could be different in your case, just see that thing. And then you have to write email is equals to db dot column, then db dot string, and we will provide wait, sorry, this string s and the integer I should be in capital. It will not work then if you does not provide this thing in capital. You have to provide this thing in capital, and then you have to define the length of this, so we will just go with like 180. Then we want this thing to be nullable. Nullable is equals to false, and the unique, this email should also be unique, so we provide this thing is true, because we want the email unique in every user case. Then we have to write with app dot app underscore context, then this, because this is a function, so write this. And you have to provide db dot create underscore all, this is also a function. So let's just test by running this app. As you can see, it is already running, so you just have to save the file and it will reload this thing up, and then go to any browser you are using and then refresh the page. We will go to the database here, and as you can see we got the user table here, and it is empty because we didn't provide any value here. And as you can see we have the email, the id, username, email columns are also passed up here. So now let's provide some data to this model. Now what you have to do is write a query. So what you have to write is if not user dot query, wait, user dot query dot filter by, okay, and we have to filter the user by username. You can do by email also, that do not, you know, change the functionality of this code. You can just type here any username you are passing, so I will just pass the John, and you have to write dot first, as it will just find this thing up there. So okay, and as you can see this is passed up here. Now you could just provide the new user. This is our variable to define the new user, and then in the new underscore user you have to define the username, and here we have to define the username. Okay, so define the user here. You have to do this, and then you have to write the username of the user. So we want the username is equal to John, and we want the email is equals to john@example.com. okay, so this is our username and these things. Now so now we have to add this to our database, so we will write db dot session dot add, and we will pass this new underscore user here. This variable is passed here, and this variable contain all this data up here. We could directly pass this thing to this, but yeah, it will make sense if you do these things and provide this thing here for the code. You know, the code will be good. Then we have to do db dot session dot commit, and this will commit all the data to our database, and we will just go there. So let me just show you all. After refreshing, we will get all the username from here, and as you can see we got the John with the ID 1, and we had the email john@example.com. So what if I just run this code again? Let me just refresh, and we got the code run again, and we didn't got a duplicate thing, because as we have passed this thing unique here. So if we just do this and this, we just do these false, and we didn't pass this if block here, then we will commit the user every time we just run the function. So this is it. And then for the thing, like we want to see how many users are in our database, we could just pass the for loop. First of all, let's define the user model here. User, not the user model, but pass the user model here. So we pass user is equals to, sorry, user is equals to, we have to pass user is equal to, and then the user model user dot query and dot all. Okay, and then you have to do is run a for loop, which will for user in, sorry, in users, run a for loop that will print user dot username, and just refresh this thing up, save this thing, and there we go, we got the John here. Now if we pass another data like John2 and the email John2, refresh the page, I mean just save the file, and it will just save the other user here. If we just refresh the thing, and as you can see, we got the John2 entry here in our database. So this was it for the today's video. Make sure to subscribe the channel and like the video, and stay updated for these kind of videos. Yes, and one more notice that I will not continue this WordPress series, because as you can see, I have just clean all my PC, because a Trojan virus attacked my PC and I have to clean that. Then I just remove all the data from the SSD and my HDD, so there's nothing like that in up here, and the WordPress files are also gone. So we will just create a new series on that and just continue with that series. But for now, this series is closed and we are not going to continue this series, but we will create a new series on WordPress in the future. I hope you like the video, and make sure to subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon to stay notified whenever I released a new video. Yeah, that's it for today's video. Bye bye.